Hi, this is Marta from Ruby Soup with Pearl Juice, and today I am bringing you my What I Got for Christmas book haul. But first, look at my new clothes. I got these for Christmas too. I like them. So the first things I want to show are two poetry collections. Now this is Morgan Parker's first poetry collection. This year, Miss Parker kind of became a big sensation with her collection There Are More Beautiful Things Than Beyonce. And before that, in 2015, she published Other People's Comfort, Keep Me Up at Night. And this collection is actually really hard to get. My mother was really lucky. She went to McNally's, a bookstore that's in Manhattan, and she literally got the last copy that bookstore had. So I am profoundly lucky. I am so happy that I have this. This is gonna be my top of the list of to be read, because Morgan Parker is just such a powerful and brave poet. She talks about so many painful things with such honesty in her poetry. And she has a good sense of humor, which mixes in well with the very determined voice that she gives. And I loved There Are More Beautiful Things Than Beyonce. It was my favorite read this year, and I can't wait to get to this. And this is called Lessons on Expulsion by Erica L. Sanchez. Erica L. Sanchez in 2017 published this and a young adult novel called I'm Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter. And this was a poetry collection that Ms. Magazine in the 2017 summer recommended for all feminists to read. And I think these poems kind of tackle womanhood and immigration and what it's like to be Latina in America right now, and that sounds really interesting. I'm really looking forward to this. I also got a classical Chinese novel, and this is a kind of it blends genres a little bit. It's science fiction, alternative history, satire, all those fun things. And this was a book written in the 18th century in China, and it is called Flowers in the Mirror. And it is written by a fellow called Ju-Chen. And this is basically kind of a book that's famous for its take on gender politics. So that's going to be really interesting. I am kind of really into classical Chinese literature, but I haven't really read that many. So it's going to be fun to kind of start with the one that's about gender and all about gender politics. Really looking forward to this one. I also got Women in Power by Mary Beard. This is a speech that Mary Beard gave at a university, and then later she wrote it down, and she had of course already had it written down, but she then reworked it into a long essay, which she then published in this book. And it's kind of like the same thing that I was talking about before. It tackles society and women and power and all what that means in today's society. So this is going to be really interesting to get into. I also have to say that I got some money from a friend, and this friend said that you can spend this money however you want. And I bought a book with it. This is called Lullaby by Leila Slimani. I probably said that wrong. But Leila Slimani is a Moroccan-French journalist who also writes novels. And this book also has a main character, a mother, who's French-Moroccan. So there's own voices presentation there. And this book follows that mother who hires a nanny because she wants to go back to work. But then the nanny ends up, and it's not a spoiler because it's actually here on the tagline, the nanny ends up killing this baby. And then kind of the book tackles this question of why that happened, while it's also talking about things like class and gender and race in France. So that's going to be really interesting to take a look at. I also got Chris Cross's biography about Kathy Acker, and it is called After Kathy Acker. Now, I have to kind of explain a little bit here that when I was a teenager, way before I had a blog and way before I had BookTube, I was obsessed with Kathy Acker. I read 15 of her books in a row when I was in high school. No, actually, even before that, when I was like, I started reading her when I was 15 and kind of stopped reading her when I was 16. But like, there was one summer where all I talked about was Kathy Acker, and she was like a god to me. I adored her books, and because I kind of have still a little bit of nostalgia of that, I really wanted to read this book when I heard that Chris Cross was writing this. I really loved Chris Cross's I Love Dick, which is kind of a, again, like blending genres. It's satire, it's essays, and it's memoir. It's like all these things mixed together, and it's kind of like a little bit meta, where you don't know what's true and what's not. And it was this big cult novel that got adapted into a TV show last year. However, this is a clear biography that Chris Cross has written about Kathy Acker, who was also kind of like a genre blending author of sorts. I actually recommend that you go check both of these writers out if you haven't read anything by them. But either way, I am really looking forward to diving into this out of nostalgia and also out of excitement. And actually, this before I go to the next book, if any of you would be interested, I could actually do a video about Kathy Acker and about the books that I've read by her and kind of do a ranking and that kind of stuff. So leave a comment below if you would like me to do that. I also got the graphic adaptation of Kindred by Octavia Butler. Now, this is an adaptation done by Damien Duffy and John Lemmings. I haven't read anything else by these two gentlemen, but this year I read Kindred, and I adored it. I think it's such a powerful take on race and privilege and morality, and it has just unforgettable characters, and it's also a really exciting book. Like, if you kind of are put off by slavery narrations because you think it's gonna be like historical fiction and you don't really like that, you should definitely still read it, because while it tackles all these really heavy topics and it is very upsetting, it's incredibly exciting. I just couldn't put that book down because I had to find out what's going to happen next. And they did a graphic adaptation in 2017 of this classic novel that was written in 1979. And I got this, and this is what I was just talking about. And while I have problems with adaptations in general, because I always feel like they take something away from the original work, which kind of was like added to the nuance of the work, then I still want to give this a try. I hope that I won't be disappointed, and it'll be kind of like interesting. I guess I could maybe try and show a little bit of the drawings. Let's see if I can find one that's not really violent. Oh. So it looks like this inside. It's kind of nicely drawn. So yeah, looking forward to that. And lastly, I got Like One in the Family by Alice Childress. Alice Childress was a Black American woman writer who, she's no longer among us, but she was kind of famous for saying that there's two kind of people in America, the haves and the haves not. And I have decided to devote my life to writing about the haves not. And this book, which has a foreword from Roxane Gay, that is awesome. This book is about a black maid in is it the 70s? No, actually, it's in the 50s. So this is about a black maid during the 50s, during the time of segregation. And this book kind of talks about race and class and also a little bit about gender. And it's kind of written from this, it's like a ongoing monologue, what I've understood, that Mildred, the main character, the maid in this, she is kind of talking directly to the reader, and she's like doing a monologue. And it's actually based on an interview that Alice Childress had was an actual maid from that time, or an ex-maid of that time. So that's going to be like really really exciting. I am so happy that they reprinted this because as soon as I learned about this book, I really wanted to read it, and now I have a copy, and I love this cover, and I really want to just dive into the story. I can't wait. Unfortunately, I have to finish my school stuff first, but afterwards. So those were all the books that I got for Christmas. Did you guys get any books for Christmas, or do you guys have any Christmas gifts that you would like to share with me? Or have you maybe heard of any of these books or read any of these books and would like to share thoughts about them with me? Comment down below. I would love to hear from you guys. And if not, that's okay. Just click the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. And a Happy New Year!